there have been quite a few requests for a men's haircutting tutorial, which I never thought I would do, but here we are. So today I'm going to show you an all clipper cut, just how to clean up your guy's hair, especially if he gets like more of a traditional fade or a little bit shorter. So what you're going to need is a comb, just to kind of get through everything. I prefer one that has both the wide and the skinny teeth, and then a set of clippers that has the clip-on guard options. You can get decent clippers on Amazon, or you might be surprised, ask your dude, because it seems like a lot of them randomly have an old pair like under the bathroom sink from college or who knows what. But you might be surprised to find out that the guy that you live with has some clippers already, so ask him first before you order them. So yeah, I hope this helps. This one will be like I said, a fade, more of a short haircut. I will show you a little bit longer version of a haircut that will involve some scissors and is for a little bit more of those shaggy, but not quarantine shaggy type of haircuts on my boys, probably in the next few days. So here's a map of how we're gonna cut the hair. If you don't know the length to cut, ask your guy. They probably know. They almost always know, oh, I get a 4 on top and this on the sides. So just ask them. What we're gonna start with is where that says number 1 guard. We're gonna work our way down from there on the sides. So we're gonna start longest to shortest from the sides. All right, so to start, we're gonna start on the sides and kind of work up to this point where their head starts to curve towards the top. You'll see it's kind of flat, and then it starts to curve. Everybody's head is like this pretty much. And start with the longest length, and then we'll work to shortest. It's kind of the least scary way to go about it. So you're gonna take those clippers and you're just gonna work straight up. I like to start on the sides. You're gonna work straight up to where that flat part starts to meet the curved part, and do not follow the shape of the head. The clippers are just gonna go straight up and off that flat part as though they're going straight up to the ceiling. To get around the ears here, what you can do is have your guy take his opposite hand and reach up and just fold that ear over for you so you can get in there. That's just a quick, easy little way to kind of sneak in there, especially when you're not used to necessarily cutting hair and moving ears. So once you get around there, you're just going to keep working around. And remember, just go straight up and off the head. You can even, when you get to that point where the flat part starts to meet the curve, you can even flick your wrist back a little bit. So as we work around the back, you're just going to keep doing the same thing. Follow that flat side of the head straight up and off. And don't be panicked if it doesn't look perfect at first. You can see here I've got some stuff that I'm going to have to go back and blend. That can be kind of the most intimidating part of a men's haircut, is you start cutting and there's lines and it doesn't look perfect right away. It's okay. It's kind of like blending eyeshadow. So now that you've made your first pass, you can go back through with those clippers and you can just kind of go over that line that you've created in the hair. And the direction is still just straight up towards the ceiling, and it'll just blur that line a little bit if you just go back over right where that line is. So at this point, you're gonna go in with your next shortest guard for the sides, shortest on the side. And you're gonna go just about 2/3 of the way up. Best guesstimate for what you're used to seeing on him is how high up you're gonna go. And you're just gonna kind of work straight up the back. So as you move around to the sides, when we get kind of to the sides and the ears, you're gonna start working at more of an angle, like what you saw on that map that I showed you at the beginning of the video, with these shorter side lengths. So you're gonna come in about a 45-degree angle. You can kind of pick a spot on their temples that's kind of a natural part of their hairline, usually the natural recession point, and that'll be what you kind of work towards as you work your way back. So just go in at an angle. This will just be the easiest to blend. It'll be a little bit more natural looking, and it won't look quite so much like a military haircut. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but they can be a little bit harsh even when they're done by a professional. So I'm just trying to give you the easiest, kind of gentlest option for just doing it at home and just trying to blend as best you can at home. Now you're going to move to your very shortest guard. And this might be unnecessary for some of you, probably for a lot of you, just 2 of the the levels of guard is probably good. This is just how I usually cut my husband's, but you can go to a shorter guard if you want to just really clean up around those edges, and you're just going to follow their natural hairline and just really lightly go in there at the bottom. So now to clean up that hairline, you're just going to take the very shortest guard that you have probably in the whole kit, and you're just going to follow their hairline. If they have a straight across hairline, follow that. If they have a little bit of an angle, follow that. It's easiest for now to just go with their natural hairline. That may not be how their barber usually cuts their hair. They might prefer something different, but for an at-home haircut with someone who doesn't maybe feel super confident about what they're doing, the very easiest thing is going to be to just follow their natural hairline. So however that hair kind of falls, just kind of follow it with the blades. As you get to the sides, and you have probably noticed I've flipped my clippers over at this point for tracing out that hairline. You can kind of go in around those ears again to clean it up, but you flip the clippers over and you just kind of use the blade as like a guide to stamp in that hairline. So just, again, follow their natural hairline, flip the blade over, and that'll just kind of clean up that whole section for you. Wanted to bring you back to the map. We've worked from longest to shortest down the sides. Now it's time for the top two. And you don't have to use those numbers. That's just how short I cut my husband's. Use the numbers that you and your guy have discussed. So now we're going to start working from shortest to longest for the curved part of the head, the top of the head. So you're going to take your shortest of the top two, and you're going to start working into that curved portion of the head. You stopped earlier at that flat part, and that's where that line comes in. And so now you're going to kind of start to follow that curve a little bit. So start just below where that line you created is and start working up into the curved portion of the head. So now you're going to move to the top with your longest length, and you're just going to kind of go for it. Just get in there, start from the front, work your way back. You want to go at a lot of different angles, so pretty much every direction the hair grows, you're gonna try to go against that. So come straight back, come side to side, kind of make some crisscrosses, but really kind of get in there at every angle. And the last and maybe most important thing I want to leave you with is don't be too hard on yourself, especially if you're not used to doing this all the time. I do this for a living and I still have a hard time cutting in my bathroom at home. It's just not the same. So go easy on yourself. Do the best you can. It'll grow. It's hair. You got this.
And the best part is when you get your haircut at home, nobody knows what's under the gown.